Now, did you know your body can produce nearly 2 litres of gas every day?
And this comes out either by burping or farting. And now to our lab, but this time we've hidden it in a top-secret location.
So secret that even Zand doesn't know where it is.
What are you doing?
It's time for some amazing experiments. Just don't try anything you see here at home. Today we're finding out what happens when you burp.
Zand, what are you doing? You know that I've expressly forbidden you from burping in the lab.
No, Chris, today I am allowed to burp because today's lab is all about burping. Burping is something we all do, no matter who you are, and there's even a medical name for it, eructation. Burping is a very important bodily function.
All burps are made of gas that your body wants to get rid of. It might be because you've swallowed air, because you gobble your lunch too fast like Zand, or it might be carbon dioxide from chemical reactions in your stomach, or from the bubbles in a fizzy drink like this. Now, the rumbling sound of a burp is caused when gas escapes through your esophagus or food pipe. Now, the internet says that the sound actually comes when it passes over a very important body part just here in your throat called the epiglottis. This stops food from going into your windpipe when you swallow. But we don't think that the internet is actually correct. So we want to find out, where does the noise of a burp actually come from, and what would happen if you didn't burp at all?
Let's find out. To show you where a burp comes from, we're going to film an actual burp from the inside.
Pardon you.
Never in all of human history has anyone ever filmed a burp from the inside.
Really?
Yes, that really is true. We're going to use a special camera to look down my throat. But don't you go sticking anything down your throat. We can only do this because we're doctors.
Away we go. So now we can see inside Zand's mouth, and then as we go back, you can see the dangly bit at the back of Zand's mouth, the uvula. And this little flap of tissue here is Zand's epiglottis. Hello, Zand's epiglottis. Now keep your eye on the opening of the esophagus.
And there it is, a burp! A world's first, a burp on camera.
As the air burps out, the soft tissue at the top of the esophagus is flapping, while the epiglottis does nothing. So we have proven burping is not the epiglottis flapping, it's the soft tissues at the top of the esophagus. Take that, Internet! You're wrong. But we're not stopping there. Remember, burping is a perfectly natural body function, although it's not polite to burp loudly like Zand is doing in this experiment. But what would happen if you didn't burp at all?
Well, Chris, put these on and I'll show you. Because I am about to introduce you to a fearsome new machine. Meet Dr. Zand's amazing eructation machines. Ta-da!
Well, show me how it works.
Here we have kitchen vinegar. We're going to take this and pour it through here. Now, in the model, this bit represents the back of your throat, and the food is going to flow down the esophagus, the food pipe, into our stomachs. These balloons contain bicarbonate of soda, which will react with the vinegar and produce gas, and we will get burping.
So how does it work?
Let me show you. The liquid goes down the throat into the esophagus, and this is what happens when you drink. Your esophagus fills up. We close that valve at the top, which is what happens when you swallow, and then we open this valve, the esophageal sphincter, and we let the food into the stomach. And then we can see it already, gas bubbling up, the chemicals in the food reacting with the chemicals in the stomach. You can feel a bit of rumbling. You can feel a burp coming. You relax this valve at the top, which is the cricopharyngeus muscle, and... Ooh. That's excellent. But you asked me what would happen if you couldn't burp, and now we're about to find out. So get your vinegar and pour it in the top. Now, let the food into the stomach.
We can see the gas.
Gas is coming out of the stomach, but it can't escape the closed valve at the top of the esophagus. If you can't burp, it means that none of the gas can escape upwards, and so it builds up in the stomach. You would be getting very uncomfortable right now if that was your real stomach.
Zand, I'm going to add more blue vinegar.
Chris, it wasn't designed to withstand this kind of pressure. More gas means more pressure. Here he goes.
Oh, Zand.
Oh, here we go. It's gonna go.
What's happening?
No! Ah!
Wow!
That was amazing!
So we've shown you where the burping noise comes from and how important burps are for getting rid of unwanted gases.
Having a day out in the park or countryside is a brilliant way of getting some fresh air and chilling out.
Especially when there's somewhere to swim! Woohoo!
But pools and lakes can be dangerous. You could slip if you run on wet ground.
Not me. I always walk slowly and safely to the water's edge.
Well, you could get into a tangle trying to change into your swimming trunks and fall over.
Not if you've already come wearing your swimmers under your clothes.
Well, you could stub your toe on rocks getting into the water.
Not if you use the jetty, Chris.
Well, in that case, I needn't have worried. I'll just sit back and read my book.
Yippee! Chris! Chris! Chris!
I think Zon's drowning. This looks like an injury alert. I'd better save him.
If you see someone drowning, never jump in to rescue them. Go and get an adult. Once they've been rescued from the water, should you A. Sing them a sea shanty,
B. Give them the book Learn How to Swim.
or C. Check if they're breathing, and if they are, roll them on their side, tilt their head back and call 999.
The correct answer is, of course, C. Check if they're breathing, and if they are, roll them on their side, tilt their head back and call 999. Let's see if this lot get it right. They've not had any advice and they're winging it.
Are you ready?
Yeah!
Off you go!
Temiteo and Dami are both pretending that they've been rescued from a lake after they started drowning.
Quick, guys, they need your help.
She breathing? Yes, she's breathing.
Checking she's breathing is a great start.
I'll maybe try and start doing chest compression.
They know she's breathing and they're still doing chest compressions, which isn't going to do any good at all.
I'm gonna put him on his side.
They put him on his side, which is good, but they didn't check anything first.
How do you get water out of someone?
They haven't worked out if he's breathing or not.
Our teams didn't quite get this right.
They had some good ideas
I put him into the rescue position.
and a few dodgy ones.
Mirabelle, why did you start doing chest compression?
Just so that she can at least get a bit of water out of her system.
So you were trying to squeeze her out like a sponge.
Time to show you how it should be done.
So Chris, just been pulled out of the lake, but he's not responsive.
Remember, we're showing you what to do in an emergency, but it's always best to get an adult. After you've checked he's unresponsive,
Check that he's breathing. So I'm going to tilt his head back, his mouth open.
To work out if someone's breathing, place your face close to theirs. Look, is their chest moving? Listen, can you hear them breathing? And feel, can you feel their breath on your face?
And he is breathing, but he's not responsive. So the next thing I need to do is get him in a position which will keep his airway open. Get that arm up, this arm over here, this leg up, and roll him towards me. Most important bit is to tilt his head like that so that his airway is open.
this also helps any water come out.
And now I phone the ambulance. 999, give my location, say what's happened, say that I want an ambulance, and they'll be on their way.
While you're waiting, keep checking the person is still breathing.
Are you ready to have another go? Yeah! Off you go!
So if you see someone who's been rescued from drowning and is unresponsive, check their breathing, and if they are, roll them onto their side, tilt their head back, and then call 999.
He's breathing, but she isn't responding.
If the person isn't breathing, the response is different. You must call 999 immediately and find an adult.
Don't worry, Zon, I've got you.
I'm not drowning, I was waving to say hello.
Oh well, always better to be safe than sorry, I say.
Chris, you'll never guess who's up next.
Well, I would imagine that
It's
it's...
Declan with his broken leg.
I was about to say that.
Let's get to the emergency department, come on.
Earlier, Declan arrived in the emergency department with a broken leg. He slipped and fell during diving practice, and the board hit him in the shin, leaving his leg bruised, cut, and out of shape. Declan has broken his fibula and tibia. Having stayed in the ward overnight, today Declan is going to have surgery on his leg.
Taking the lead will be surgeon Mr. John Cashman. Because the bones are broken into lots of pieces, Mr. Cashman is holding them together with an Elizaroff frame outside his leg. Will the frame be off in time for Declan's next big competition, Mr. Cashman?
It's likely that the frame will be on for at least 4 months. It might be up to 6.
Oh, that's not the news Declan wanted to hear. But he will be able to dive again, won't he?
Absolutely.
A week later, Declan is already working on keeping the strength and power in his broken leg. How are you feeling?
The last week has been a very big stretch for me. I've been doing lots of physio, I've been walking.
Declan's even had a message from Olympic bronze medalist, diver Tom Daley.
Hi, Dec. I know injury can be like the worst thing ever, but just stick it out. Make sure you're doing everything you can to recover, eat the right things, rest up, and you'll be back before you know it.
I will be back, so no stopping me now.
Loving your fighting spirit. Take care now. Bye.
It might sound ridiculous, but Zoe, who's 6 months old, and Josephine, who's 9 months old, are already brilliant in the water. In fact, humans are born with the ability to swim. No one has taught these babies to swim underwater. What they're doing is totally instinctive, and it's helped out by something going on inside them called the mammalian dive reflex.
You have this reflex too. And so do sea mammals. Like these seals. They can stay underwater for an impressive 30 minutes. Humans, though, lose this reflex by the time we're 6 months old. But some extraordinary people train themselves to use their mammalian dive reflex into adulthood. Today's brilliant body belongs to George Miller, the 6-time national freediving record holder.
Freediving is swimming deep underwater while holding your breath without any breathing equipment. George's body can do this because she's trained for 11 years. So prepare to be amazed, but please leave this kind of diving to the experts.
How long can you hold your breath for?
I can hold my breath for a little bit over 7 minutes.
That is completely crazy. Do you think you could get me close to 7 minutes?
Eventually. Maybe not today, but we can definitely improve you.
OK, fantastic.
We're going to see how long you can hold your breath for.
OK.
This will give George an idea of how well Zand uses his lungs to breathe.
You did 1 minute 27, which is amazing for the first time.
Impressive, Zand.
I'm quite pleased with myself about that.
I think we can do better.
Really?
Yes. Freedivers learn how to use something that we call a 3-part breath, or diaphragmatic breath. So if you put one hand on your tummy and one hand on your chest, the first part of the breath comes from the belly. And then the chest. And then just let it all fall out. So hold your breath.
The trick is to use your diaphragm, the muscle under the lungs, to take in as much air as possible before you hold your breath.
You did 2:17.
Really?
That's amazing.
So that's almost a minute more?
Yeah.
So Zand's got the breathing technique down. Now he needs to do it while freediving underwater.
Now, safety is the most important thing, and I can only do this because I'm surrounded by professionals.
So never ever practice on your own, even in the bath.
Before he goes underwater, Zand uses George's deep breathing technique. His mammalian dive reflex is triggered once his face touches the water.
How long was I under for?
You were down there for 30 seconds.
But for that 30 seconds, I was like a seal.
Zand held his breath longer on land because when swimming in water, his muscles needed oxygen. But practice makes perfect.
OK, here we go.
Instinctively, Zand's body knows he's not breathing, so it prioritizes sending blood to his brain and his heart. This allows him to swim even deeper. Amazing work, Zand.
Dive 2 was a massive improvement. 7 metres down, 41 seconds. The most amazing thing about today is that what George has been able to show me is that my body is capable of doing things that I had no idea it could. And that's all thanks to the mammalian diving reflex.
Now let's catch up with our next ouch patient.
Hi everyone, it's me Holly again today.
9-year-old Holly has cerebral palsy.
This affects her muscle control and movement.
Last time, Holly showed us how she gets about at home. Today, Holly is going to physio.
I do physio every day, but I see my physio every week.
Holly comes to the clinic here at Alderhay in the community to see her physiotherapist, Rosemary.
Right, the next one are like mini sit-ups.
These exercises help improve Holly's movement.
Good control. Double high five on that. Well done. That was great.
We look after the body, but mostly we want to make sure that the kids can do what they want to do in the way they want to do it.
And I'm really happy with how it went because I've been able to move my legs and my hip a lot easier. So that's really good.
Wow, this looks brilliant. How often do you get in the pool, Holly?
I go swimming every Thursday after school.
The pool means that Holly gets some great exercise, plus it's lots of fun.
One of my favourite things to do is front stroke. Last week I did 150 metres in 40 minutes.
That's cool.
That was harder than you think it is.
Look pretty hard to me.
But it makes me feel kind of free, especially when I've been stuck in a chair all day. And then when you get out into this pool, there's so much space and you can move everywhere. It's really nice.
Nice one, Holly.
See you next time. We've also been following Ruby, who has been undergoing treatment for leukemia, a cancer which affects her blood.
Last time we saw Ruby getting treated in hospital, but since she started her treatment, Ruby hasn't been able to do the one thing she really loves.
Today I'm going swimming and this is my dry suit so I can go in the water and not get wet. Because if my land gets wet, it gets infected, and I'm really excited.
Ruby's treatment has been going well, and she only has a couple more weeks of chemotherapy left.
Good luck with the rest of your treatment, Ruby. We hope you're all better soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Operation Takeover.
Can you guess who today's heroes are? Well, I'll give you a clue. They often use one of these.
Are they professional hula hoopers?
No.
Did you guess it? We're about to take over the job of today's hero, lifeboat crew member Keith.
Keith is the boss on board the Southport lifeboat.
He's one of 40,000 specially trained volunteers in the UK who save anyone in trouble at sea.
Let's go, Keith.
This is not an easy job, but there are a few perks. I'm about 3 feet away from a dolphin. Whoa! Look at them there! Wow! That is amazing.
Unlike dolphins, humans aren't always great in water.
Keith, what kind of medical emergencies do you get out here then?
Boating accidents where the boats are sinking and capsizing. So it's hypothermia of anybody falling in.
Hypothermia is a dangerous condition where someone's body temperature drops too low. It's a huge problem if someone's stuck in cold water.
We get them on board as quickly as we can. We'll try and prevent the condition worsening, and then our main aim is to get them to emergency help as quickly as possible.
To get ready for our challenge, we need some training on how to save a person in the water.
The exercise starts with a dummy going overboard.
This bit doesn't feel very doctorish, does it? No.
From the moment someone is spotted in the water,
Man overboard! Starboard side!
every crew member points to the casualty.
So the idea is that we point so that we don't lose the casualty position. And I have to say, I've just lost it. Hang on, where is it? There. Okay.
Concentrate, Zand. Keith then expertly manoeuvres the lifeboat so the casualty can be pulled on board, ready to treat any injury.
Hello, can you hear me? It's the lifeboat.
Finally, it's time to head back to shore. Hang on a minute. Where's Zand? Man overboard.
This is very embarrassing. You have to hold on.
As you can tell, it's very easy to have an accident at sea.
Sorry.
The lifeboat crew have an absolutely vital job. It's time for us to head back to shore and take over as lifeboat crew.
What's our challenge?
Mini Zan's going to be marooned in his boat over the other side of the pond.
What? Mini Zand is marooned? Chris, what will we do?
We're going to use our training, Zand. We'll launch the lifeboat, navigate through the treacherous waters, pass between the buoy and the jagged rocks, and finally safely manoeuvre the lifeboat next to Mini Zand.
But you?
We'll judge you on three things. We're going to have the safety of your boat and crew, the speed, and the safety of the casualty.
Chris, you're up first.
I'm using a rigid inflatable bolt. It's the Helmatic Arctic 24.
I just call mine Donna. What?
Are you ready, Chris?
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go. It's a good launch, good speed.
Ooh, excellent navigation through the dangerous waters.
Nicely done. Old Mini Zand probably doesn't even have a boating licence, you know. He hasn't been maintaining that boat. He's exactly like Zand.
Cheeky.
Right, he's approaching the casualty now.
OK, slow down. Slow down now. Slow down. Slow!
Bit of damage to the propellers there, I think.
At least I could administer first aid while perhaps someone else comes and rescues me.
Let's see if you can do any better, Zand.
3, 2, 1, go.
OK.
Good launch, quickly away.
Come on!
He seems a little bit slower, perhaps, approaching the buoy.
Where are you going, Zand?
Oh, hang on.
Come back! Watch out for those rocks.
Here we go now. I'm on track. Don't worry, Mini Zand. I'm coming to get you.
Not any time soon, by the looks of it.
A good direction for the approach. Let's see how he manages the casualty.
Wait, I'm almost there.
You've hit him!
Oops.
And again!
Rescued! Yes! It was only a bump. I think I've got this one in the bag.
You need to think again. Keith, what's the verdict?
Safety of the crew. Chris was slightly ahead there. Zand clipped the rocks on the far side.
In the entire pond, there is only one rock.
Secondly, safety of the casualty. Zand, you hit Mini Zand.
Well, I must have been quicker than you, Chris.
Zand, unfortunately, you were slower, so I have to give it to Chris.
Yes!
In your face.
Well, I may have won, Zand, but what we've mainly seen today is just how important and difficult the work of the lifeboats really is.
And I think it's definitely best left to the professionals. Keith, we're going to give you your hats back, and you will definitely want these little boats because Mini Zand has planned his summer holiday next year in Southport. Might have to rescue him again. Right, I'm going to go and buy him some sunscreen.